Welcome to Audible Interlude, a G.I. Joe podcast. I am your host, Dave West, codename Phantom Troublemaker.
And I am your co-host, Noel Wood, codename Crapshoot.
And I'm your Cobra intern that got really confused when Dr. Mindbender asked for Snow Job, codename Legion Cub.
When Dr. Mindbender asked for some pit cleaner to take care of those nasty stains.
Right?
I can't wait. I can't wait to see if this new Mindbender.
How many times has it been delayed now?
I think only twice, really.
Okay.
But now it's, what was it, September 15th, I think? I don't know. We'll get into all that because we got a lot. It's funny. We've got very little news. Very little. Everybody must be busy preparing for Dragon Con because we have less sound offs than we have ever had, including the first week when nobody knew what a sound off was or what to do with it. But we do have some folks here in the chat. Welcome to the show, Mandalorian Jedi. Where were you with the sound off, pal? You've usually got gold in there. Toy Reclaimer, what is up? Bread R44, my first live watch. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the family. As Toy Reclaimer says, welcome to the party, pal. Captain Speedy. We got a nice little group hanging out with us tonight, and we're going to have fun. The weather is insane. There's been crazy thunder going on, but we've still got power. We've still got internet. We're still recording, and we're still live, pal. So we're going to go as long as we can go. Needless Things YouTube channel. That's where you are right now. It's great every other Monday for Audible Interlude live. But in between those live shows, there are tons of toy reviews each and every week. Except for this week, because there's only going to be one review because Dragon Con prep has just taken me out of the game. I will be reviewing the Masters Universe Origins, the new glow-in-the-dark skeleton buddies that just came out, the Big Bad shipped to me. Have you seen these, Kristian?
No.
Dude. Oh, man, I wish they're right across the room, but I can't interrupt our show opening momentum.
I get to look forward to the review.
Yes, absolutely. That'll be up on Wednesday. And there is stuff coming this week. The N1 Starfighter from the Mandalorian will go up sometime after Dragon Con. That thing's coming in early. It was originally December, and it's on the way to me now. Some more Masters Universe Origins, and hopefully some more G.I. Joe. We'll get to that in a minute. But anyway, Needless Things YouTube channel. Like, subscribe, share, tell your friends about Needless Things. We like to have fun. We like to look at toys. We have shirts, Audible Interlude Podcast shirts. Follow Audible Interlude Podcast on Instagram. Go check out the saved stories. That's where the links are for the shirts. Wait for a sale. TeePublic has sales all the time. Get yourself a nice Audible Interlude shirt on sale. Schedule-wise, the audio version of this episode will be available this Friday. And this week, you guys, what is it? I think I've already said it twice now, so I've kind of ruined this bit. But is there something going on this weekend that you can think of?
There be dragons, I hear.
There do indeed. Operation Snake Gun. Live at Dragon Con, Audible Interlude will be hosting a live panel Friday at 1 p.m. in the Marriott M103, M105 for the Dragon Con American Sci-Fi Classics track. It is your opportunity to come sound off live because you guys know how we do. We like the audience participation. We like to get, the listeners or the live audience, as it were, involved in the conversation. We've got a lot of stuff, fun stuff planned. Got giveaways, of course, cool swag to hand out, some brand new stuff. We'll talk about that towards the end of the show. But Dragon Con this weekend, Audible Interlude live Friday, 1 p.m. And of course, we'll have that all over Instagram, so you can go check that out. And if you happen to catch the Big Joe Game Show at Joe Fest in June, the full version of that game show, the Big Damn Game Show, will also be happening. Yeah, we can throw out a D word. We have one D word per season by our contract. Saturday night, 10 p.m., Hilton Crystal Ballroom. If you're going to be at Dragon Con, and you want to have fun and win fabulous prizes, that is the place to do it. All right, that's enough putting stuff over. Our next live stream will be on September the 11th, right here on the Needless Things YouTube channel. Next week, rather than our normal segments episode, we will be featuring the audio version of the live Dragon Con panel. So even if you can't make it to Dragon Con, you can still enjoy the fun of the panel as part of your regular Audible Interlude podcast enjoyment. Other good news. Let's see here. I have mentioned that anything that we get in the old super chat down there is going towards StreamYard. This Zoom thing is whack. We got to get rid of Zoom and move on up to StreamYard. You guys probably all know it even better than I do, but we want the better presentation, the better interactivity. We want to upgrade for you guys. But StreamYard is not free, or at least the version of it that has all the cool stuff with it is not free. So everything that comes in through the super chat for the foreseeable future goes towards paying for StreamYard for a year. Full disclosure, transparency. We are currently at $117.40 in the super chat as far as our StreamYard funding. Like, since we started saying that was the point, we need $240. So that's where we are. As soon as we hit that 240, the quality of this show is going up, and it's going to stay that way because we're not, anything we get in these super chats always goes back into the show. But once we're into that StreamYard, we're obviously not going to be able to go back to blocky, ugly Zoom. So no offense, Zoom. We love you. You're great.
Can you handle us in HD?
Yeah, right. Yeah, probably not. So yeah, that's what's going on with the show. Follow us on Instagram at Audible Interlude Podcast and on X at G.I. Joe Audible. All right.
Watch out. You're going to get in a fight with Jack Perry if you keep throwing that up.
Oh, man. That guy. What? Okay. Listen, my honest, you guys, we're gonna diverge a little bit here. Actually, before we diverge, I'm gonna check in with the chat again because we got a bunch more people in here. Christmas Ape, hello. JJ shoulder height packing for Dragon right now. We will see you at the panel, right? Rachel Salinas, good evening, gents. Good evening, Rachel. Glad to have you back. Mandalorian Jedi, it's fine. You contribute almost as much as any of us do every time. So you can take a day off. It's all right. Kevin Riddle, what's up? Good to see you here. Glad everybody's here. So if we can diverge a little bit, I don't believe any of it, Noel. Any of the CM Punk backstage elite drama stuff. I think it's a modern work.
Wait. My heart can't take this. Are you trying to tell me the wrestling is fake?
Next thing you know, you're going to tell
Kristian.
me you're going to tell me that they actually did not expect Brock Lesnar to shake Cody Rhodes' hand and hug him after that match.
Right. It really surprised everybody. Just like Brock Lesnar went into business for himself and popped open Randy Orton's forehead.
Right.
That was, I think these guys are brilliant. They're working all the dirt sheets. They're feeding, because if you notice, every story that comes out has two completely opposing sides. They all get fed to different news sources, and everybody keeps talking about AEW. And CM Punk keeps getting the yay boo response that was so valued for John Cena that nobody else has been able to equal. Now, I'm not saying Punk's is equal to Cena's, but they're milking it. They're keeping it going. So anyway, it wasn't real glass. It's all a work.
So, sorry to isolate all the people who have no idea what we're talking about.
Right. They're like, can we talk about the trouble bubbles, please?
CM Punk has a Cobra tattoo. It's okay.
That's right. That's how it's relevant. It's G.I. Joe adjacent. All right. I'm sorry. I've had that in my soul for a long time now, and it had to come out, and this is where it happened. I apologize to everybody. Now we'll talk about some G.I. Joe stuff. Oh, Toy Reclaimer, you got your Snake Mountain. Did it come from Big Bad? Because I've got mine pre-ordered from Big Bad. and the other Origin stuff is coming in, but that one hasn't nothing, no movement there yet. I said we were going to talk about G.I. Joe stuff, and I immediately started talking about He-Man. But that's what happens when we have a no news week. We have to find other topics, people. Okay. Mandalorian Jedi, I promise to have my homework ready for class next time. Thank you. No, we will not wrap your knuckles with the ruler this time. Okay.
You got to give your hand a rest every now and then because you're going to get carpal tunnel writing.
Oh, boy. PG-13, PG-13. We've got some news. Word Burglar, our pal, who we hope to have on the show sometime soon again. I don't want to overdo it with the guests, but we got to have Bergie back on sooner than later. He interviewed the legendary Mike Costa, the writer behind the Cobra G.I. Joe, the Cobra G.I. Joe comic book, IDW's Cobra comic book, the one that's renowned for Chuckles' character development, and one of the most powerful G.I. Joe stories that's been presented. I think it's a great interview. Word Burglar, obviously, we all know he knows his stuff. It's a great conversation with Mike Costa. Did you guys get an opportunity to check this out? I know we've all been super busy.
Not yet. It's on my while I'm driving to Atlanta list.
Yeah, it's on YouTube, but you can definitely just do the audio. It's not the most visual interview ever.
I've got 4 hours of Florida roads.
So
it's going to be on YouTube.
Okay, so let's see. Jada Toys. Well, the first thing that popped up, and we all three of us kind of saw this at the same time, I think, or maybe Noel saw it first, but just didn't tell us. Lowe's has a display of die-cast cars that I was a little confused about. I thought Die-Cast Galaxy was a company, but apparently it's just the name of that display. Is that what you guys have taken away from this?
I know that. So I heard Lowe's later. When I first saw this reported, it was, I think someone found them at Walgreens.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's a couple of different stores. I'm sure you probably have gone through like a drugstore or even like a grocery store like Kroger has them, where they'll have that little spinner rack that actually has little die-cast vehicles.
And they're just loose.
Yeah, they're just loose, just sitting there. And I presume it's just probably whomever puts that display out is probably who that this Die-Cast Galaxy is. Well,
it seemed to me, right. They're a distributor, but on those displays you might find like Maisto, Jada Toys, whoever else makes die-cast. Like it's different manufacturers. It's almost like a store within a store.
Mm-hmm.
But people were spotting. Oh, what was it? Was it the Hiss Tank and the
Vamps and Stingers?
Oh, and Stingers. Okay.
Yeah, which are the two that have been released because we haven't seen the Hiss Tank yet.
Oh, have we not?
I don't believe so. I don't believe it's hit retail yet.
Jada Toys has not done a super job. Like the products are fantastic, but we need more of them.
Yeah, well, and they're great little cheap things. Like I love getting those little, a little vehicle and the little, driver I don't really need, but that vehicle's worth $14 easily.
Yeah, they're great toys, but I just want more of them. The little Micro Machine ones that they did, that came out like 2 years ago now, if not longer.
It's been a while.
I'd like to see more of those, and I really was hoping we'd get like a full fleet of them. Well, we did, but it was just the same 3 vehicles. So anyway, those are showing up, I guess, in Walgreens and Lowe's. I stopped by my local Lowe's or by one of them, and they didn't have any of it.
Yeah, I haven't actively looked for them, but I haven't seen them anywhere that I've gone.
I just thought it was. I just honestly wanted to go just to see. It would be nice to see them in person. We can order this stuff for the most part, but finding something, especially in a vastly different retail environment like that, is kind of exciting. So I wanted to, walk around the corner and see it, but that's not what happened. Although they did have plenty of Halloween stuff that made the trip well worth it. All right. What else we got going on in the chat here? Oh man. Okay. Toy Reclaimer. Amazon got the Snake Mountain out first. Interesting. I just did Big Bad because I just didn't. I don't know. I like them. That's all I can say. Blue Ox Model Shop. Hey guys, this is my first live and I'm a new collector. I'm looking forward to the new comics coming out this year, as are we all. I can't wait to see hopefully a sort of refreshed and reinvigorated Larry Hama, and then whatever the new story that we're getting going forward, we're definitely going to be looking at and talking about here on the show.
And they've been posting some preview pages on some of the various comic sites.
Oh, so, really?
Yeah. There was a page, I think, of Cobra Commander that Comic Book Resources posted. I mean, it doesn't give anything away.
Right,
like,
right.
To me, it was enough to see like, oh, okay, this is what the art is going to look like. It's okay. It's not IDW art, but
I mean, that's not necessarily a bad thing.
No. That's just it. Like, it is definitely a different style. And sometimes if you want to get people to forget or not compare you to the older stuff, that's what you got to do.
Yeah, you got to change it up. Yeah, the good point from Toy Reclaimer that, right now those comics, the older comics are not online digitally at all. So hopefully somebody's going to bring those back once they start putting the physical comics back in the stores. Because I mean, why wouldn't you? Let's generate some revenue. Rachel says she found the Hiss tank at Walmart back in January, and that lines up with what I thought. I thought it had been found, and then I had not found it.
Yeah, I may have seen that it happened a while back, but who remembers what happened in January?
That's fair. Toy Reclaimer says the first 4 pages went up. Mandalorian Jedi, I missed the Star Wars Micro Machines line, and I hit the company up about potential G.I. Joe Micro Machines, and they said there is nothing in the works for that line. I still want G.I. Joe Action Fleet. Like I've mentioned it several times before. That would be awesome. I would love that. Okay, let's see here. What do we got? Okay, it's time for the screen share. And our power went out right before we started recording here, so I've got to open my stuff back up. I'm just thankful the power is back on. I'm blown away that the internet didn't go out. Thank you, Xfinity. We won't talk smack about you like we did Zoom. Which, by the way, anybody just now joining us, we mentioned that we are currently at $117.40 of the $240 we need to sign up for StreamYard for a year. That's the level of StreamYard that makes everything all fancy. You can add stuff to whatever interactivity. Everything that comes into the super chat goes straight to the StreamYard budget. So there's that. Okay. Let's share the screen. This picture is from... Oh, tell me I didn't lose my updated notes when the power went out. Oh, okay. Good. Here we go. From Chaz the Guru on Instagram, it is a whole new G.I. Joe classified figure that we don't know anything about. We had no announcement of whatsoever. Somebody's got it in hand. And then there's updated pictures that I didn't have an opportunity to add of whole cases of this thing that somebody has somewhere. So anyway, this is Parth Wolf Spider Varma.
Just rolls off the tongue.
Yeah, right? Yeah. Brand new character, which we've talked about before. And I think all three of us were in favor of just new characters. And here it is. And I have to say, and look, I don't know. How do you guys feel about this figure?
My biggest question is, if this is Night Force version Wolf Spider, are we getting a regular
Dayforce
edition?
version.
Like what does
The
that look
Dayman.
like?
The fighter of the
Dayman.
Night Force.
Champion of the Sun.
Because I like the concept of new figures. This isn't doing much for me, but Night Force usually doesn't.
Well, and that's where I am. And I look, this is all opinion. We all love different parts of G.I. Joe for different reasons. And for me personally, at this point in my life, I love Tiger Force and Python Patrol because they're interesting looking toys. Night Force I have no interest in Night Force aside from, oh, here are some characters I want. Or if it's a new character like Shooter, well, Shooter's not a new character, but you know what I mean? A character like Shooter where like that could sort of be the default look, or like Big Ben, same thing. That could sort of be the default look. But as far as the look of Night Force, it's just not as interesting to me. And this, I don't know. I can't say it doesn't look G.I. Joe because what does that even mean?
No, I said I think it's a neat looking action figure. But it looks like a neat looking action figure from a line that I wouldn't collect. Nothing wrong with it. I think that it looks like this is probably Night Viper tooling that wound its way up into a Joe figure first, because I'm pretty sure that helmet is going to be at least slightly modified at a bare minimum to make a Night Viper helmet.
It's got the shotgun, which I don't love that shotgun.
Is it the beachhead shotgun or the Flint?
No, that's
Falcon.
Falcon's.
A Falcon shotgun, yeah.
And Falcon's backpack.
Yeah. I know Falcon's backpack.
It's not bad. It's just not exciting to me. And I'll say right now, I don't think I'm even going to pre-order it. And of course, when it goes up for pre-order, I'll probably pre-order it. But what's frustrating to me is we're probably not going to see this for another year with the way distribution has been about these kinds of things.
Well, yeah, because I mean, hasn't even been a name drop yet.
Right.
And it's Walmart, so good luck finding it in the store.
Well, no, I mean, that's not entirely fair to say because all of the last retro stuff I've seen.
Retro stuff,
times.
Yeah, but I've not seen any of the Night Force stuff.
Well, none of it's out yet.
I actually haven't seen any of the new.
The Big Ben and the
stuff.
Range Viper aren't out at retail?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay.
Which is what I was saying is it's wild to me that this exists physically in somebody's hand,
right?
But we don't even have the first two releases yet.
I didn't pre-order those, but for some reason I thought I'd seen that people had them in hand already.
No, I don't. Well, okay, people have ordered them from overseas and have them in hand.
Right,
that's what it is.
People have paid like $50 a piece for them and have them, but domestically they are not. Like through regular channels, they are not available yet. Okay, let's see. Dayforce figures have cargo shorts and tank tops. I'm in. Let's make this happen, please. That was Mandalorian Jedi. Rachel says, so where are Wolf Spider, Ripcord, Crazy Legs, and Airborne supposed to deploy from? That's a fair question. Kevin Riddle, I like having new characters in the line. He has the Dragonfly deco scheme going with the yellow highlights.
Okay.
Oh, that's a good point. Kevin Riddle, you've solved the riddle of Wolf Spider's deco. See, now that you've said that, I see that, and he's a companion. Because look at that. You're 100% right.
Now okay. You want him.
Solid. Well, I knew it would happen. I just didn't know where. I just didn't know where it would come from.
You just need to find the slightest justification.
That is correct. I know myself, and you. That is well. You also know me clearly. Okay, so Wolf Spider has gone from a thumb sideways to a thumbs up for me. What about you guys?
Yeah, I still want Daytime Spider.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm done with Day Spider. You know what? Here's what I want. Let me bring this back up. Because we've got plenty of Plenty of time to spread things out tonight. Okay, so here's what I want from Day Spider. I want all of the black to be yellow and all of the green to be that blue that's in his monocle right there. And then the yellow, let's make that orange. And that's Day Spider.
Did you just become Super 7 for a second? What is going on here?
That's my day. Somebody who's good with Photoshop. Do one of those renders that his tank likes to post.
Oh my Lord, can they stop doing that? I have gotten like preliminary excited 100 times over the last 2 weeks, thinking a new render had popped up.
Well, okay,
fan render.
Look, but to be fair, when there's no news, we talk about wrestling and Masters of the Universe, and his tank puts up renders. That's just we all have to do what we've got to do to get by in a slow news period. Okay, what else have we got? Oh, okay, this is fun. Kristian, I'm going to let you talk about this one a little bit.
Yes. Sorry. Yeah.
So we love
like
Monster
adjacent,
Force.
but like, yeah. So the Monster Force figures, we know they have kind of been delayed to the beginning of next year, but they're already starting to do reveals and pre-orders for Wave 2, and this is their take on the Invisible Man, Lieutenant Griffin, the Eraser. That clear head is like everything.
I mean, that portrait is just even though this is just a render and we can't even really see it all that well, you can tell that portrait has tons of character.
Yeah. And you know, when you first glance at it, you're like, gloved hands, like it makes sense, right? Like,
yeah,
they're gonna go the cheap route or inexpensive route to cover him up as much as possible, and then here we get a see-through head. Oh no, every single one of his hands is also redone in clear plastic. And you know, you're a sucker for glow in the dark stuff, and I like see-through action figures.
Well, look, translucent is a way to my heart too, because I've bought, and Super 7 started doing translucent stuff in their Filmation line. Oh man, and it's you know, Duncan got turned into a crystal statue or whatever. Like, who wants a figure of that? And if you'll notice,
genuinely excited for this line. When we were at Joe Fest, we talked about it on our episode. You know, but they had the samples there. They had some figures they haven't shown yet. I'm actually surprised that like the Dahmer Party and Eraser, like they weren't there, but the Yeti.
I think at this point, Fresh Monkey Fiction really are skilled at pacing reveals and at what point in development to reveal things. And like I feel like they have somebody who's like a professional scheduler. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's their job I see this is where we are with this. Man, look at the camo on his suit. There's like a pattern on that that's actually, now that I'm looking at it, reminiscent. Did you see the new Invisible Man movie with I can't remember her name.
Oh yeah, the lady from Mad Men and Marcel.
Yes.
I saw like half of it.
I really liked it, but this suit looks similar to the suit, spoiler, to the suit in that movie. And also you'll notice that he's got invisible karate hands.
Yes.
As though he's stealthily creeping up on somebody for an invisible chop.
Yeah, he's going to cook some calamari.
This is awesome. I cannot wait to get this line in hand. And I think we mentioned it last time, but I'll throw it out there again. The first wave has been delayed to first quarter of next year. And I honestly, I mean, one, sure, if they want to tighten some things up, if they want to make sure the quality is where they want it, Fresh Monkey Fiction is at this point, a trusted company. They've delivered many, many products, some of which I'll be talking about at Dragon Con on a different panel. But I think it's entirely possible they push stuff back because Hasbro has so much coming out at the end of this year. And it really eased the burden on me because I've got that whole first series pre-ordered.
So, well, that's the thing. Like when these were first announced, I think I only pre-ordered 2. And then after seeing them at JoeCon, I'm still not completely all in because there was 1 or 2 that I was, they're average.
Sure. Yeah.
But everything else I ordered and everything they have revealed so far, I'm going to pre-order. But I have to ask a question now, going back to one of our previous episodes.
Oh boy.
Since you have a hard time mixing lines together, is Monster Force going to go with your Joes? Because I think that's what I am most stoked about.
I think it's probably going to be, well, first of all, there are already so many of them planned that they're their own shelf.
Oh, sure.
But aesthetically, certainly when I do my first reviews, I'm going to be comparing them to classified figures to see how they line up. Because you guys know me, I'm so picky about aesthetics and the way that articulation and profiles match and everything else. So I'll definitely be doing comparisons, and we'll see how well they go together. Check in with the chat real quick. Rachel says Tiger Force Wreckage and Tiger Force Sky Striker never got regular releases. It's quite possible Wolf Spider might not get a regular release. And that's a good point. And I think we said the same thing with Shooter, is this just may be the only Shooter, which is, Hasbro's been smart about this stuff. You put these specialty versions out first, like they did with Rakondo, like they did with Bazooka. And some people, will just buy those. And then the regular versions come out and they buy those too. Whereas if they release the regular version first and people have their standard G1 Bazooka, well, then they may skip the Tiger Force one. So I personally, I think that's a smart business move from Hasbro. And yeah, we may not, that may be just Wolf Spider. He may just be a Night Force guy. That might be it. Although I still want Day Spider. Wreckage needs some love for sure. Draws Walker 9. I'm surprised there has not been a set of Cold Slither renders yet. I've said this before. I think if that happens, it's going to come from Super 7. I think
he's talking about the fan-made renders from his tank.
Renders.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah, somebody's probably done it, and his tank just hasn't. They're saving them. They're like, okay, if we go another week with no news, we're putting up the Cold Slither. We need those front page hits. Mandalorian Jedi Draws Walker 9. Can't wait to see a Cold Slither Super 7 set. Yes, exactly. Maybe it needs some electronics in the drum set that plays the song. In some way, shape, or form, we need the Cold Slither song and the Average Joe band, right?
Yes.
Isn't that what they're called? We need both of those.
Which, once again, showing that the G.I. Joe theme exists in the G.I. Joe universe.
Yes, it is canon. Christmas Vape. Oh, great. Now I got the Cold Slither song in my head. Yeah, that is great. JJ Shoulder Height. I'm excited about the Monster Force line. Finished my Playmates Monster Force set at Toylanta earlier this year. I've only got the creature from those. And for some reason,
no.
Well, they're from Playmates Toys, but it's a separate line. There was a cartoon. It was this whole thing, and they were another one of those things like Toxic Crusaders that meshed with the Turtles toys. Okay. That Playmates style.
I'm vaguely remembering it. I was not into those.
They're pretty great. Well, whenever they came out, I didn't get them, but I got a mint on card creature one. I think it has a different name, just because I love creature stuff. like this fantastic creature from the Black Lagoon figure from Jada Toys, reviewed right here on the Needless Things YouTube channel. I can't put it away. It's such a good figure. It's living permanently on my desk. I can't put it on the shelf. Okay. Anyway. Everything But Joe. That's the subtitle of this episode. Let's see. Okay, Noel, I think if you want to talk a little bit about our next guy here, because I do want to hear your thoughts about this and the next one.
Okay. This is the
3-0.
3-0.
Yeah, the 3-0 1/6 scale Destro. I'm not sure why you having me talk on this, because this is not a line I have any interest in whatsoever.
Well, that's kind of why, though, because it's to me, it's interesting to hear your take on something kind of from afar.
Yeah,
like where you're not going to buy this, but you can step back and take a look at it a little more objectively, maybe.
Okay. Well, I think it's a great looking figure. If you are a 1/6 scale collector, God bless you, because that's some money and some space that you got to take up with these giant honking figures.
Well, that's the thing, though, is these are not as expensive. These aren't Hot Toys prices. These are like I think they're $175.
Yeah, that's
yes, is expensive. Well, but not for.
That's about 4 times more than I'd be willing to pay for a figure this height.
But it's in modern pricing, considering Hot Toys are up to $275, $350.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, that's not bad. And they may not be $175. They might be like $150. I just remember being surprised that they were not more expensive than that, especially considering for $50 less, you get a 6-inch 112 collected figure.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, as far as what you're getting there, you're not getting an insanely like useless set of extra accessories. You're getting, some extra hands. You got a couple guns, but you've got a good loadout on them and a couple of options as far as the hands go.
It is interesting that there's just the one portrait, but I think they went with a good one.
Mm-hmm.
But really, Destro should only have one portrait, because that's a solid mask that doesn't move.
It's nanites that do move.
I like I do like the way that the jumpsuit looks. It's got some really good detail on it. It's got that, like, the little zipper and a lot of good clean lines on it. So
I like the way they designed his wrist rockets, where there's actually a panel that opens up to reveal them. I think that was a nice little innovation there. It of course comes with the briefcase, but this time it's Mars and not Cobra, which is an improvement over both Mezco and Hasbro's versions. So that's cool. Opens up to reveal his kit. So yeah, I mean, it looks great. It's not anything I'm gonna get either, because my gosh, you can't buy it all.
Right. Yeah.
And then we also have this guy that we've talked about before, but this is the full product reveal that we got this time. Kristian, I think you said this is kind of a everything you want in a Cobra Commander.
Yeah, I mean, my aesthetic, I like the full blue helmet. I don't like the white stripe, but otherwise, this is the Cobra Commander artwork on that package realized.
So I'm looking at the stripe, and they've definitely gone
molded
further. Yeah, they've gone further with that than anybody else ever has. It almost looks like it's a light gray rather than a white, but yeah, it is.
True.
It is actually an indented sculpt into the helmet. It's an interesting look. I don't know how I feel about that. The truth.
I would prefer the hairdryer gun anytime you get a Cobra Commander figure.
Sure.
But,
yeah.
The little German pistol is fine too.
The Han Solo pistol.
Yeah, the Han Solo pistol.
And I really like the clearly there's it's not vac metal, but there's a metal finish. Well, maybe there's not. I thought the faceplate looked like it had a metal finish, but maybe it does. No, I guess it doesn't.
I have a feeling it's probably like the Super 7 Silverhawks, where they use kind of like a car paint that's shiny, but not in any way, shape, or form reflective.
So just some cool stuff. 3-0, like everything they've done has looked pretty good. And for collectors who like that scale, the original G.I. Joe scale, by the way, I think it's good stuff.
Long before an oil crisis that made plastic insanely expensive.
That's right. All right. And we've got one more for Kristian here. This one's you guys didn't know this was coming, but it popped up on Instagram. And we've got to talk about it. Because we've talked about it before. And yeah.
Oh, yes. Yes.
So before you get into it, is this Gorgills or is this Kraken? And what is the difference? What's a Gorgills then?
I'm not for sure.
Well, Gorgills is a thing, right? Or is that just maybe what they're calling this? Somebody in the chat clear this up for me.
Because I know about the Red Shadows.
Right. I don't know anything about Action Force or Red Shadows. The only version
I know of with the Red Shadows is Kraken.
Okay, well, somebody Google Gorgills because that was in the hashtags too. So that is a thing. And I was under the impression that this was a character called Gorgills.
Well, maybe that's the name they're giving.
Right. Maybe that's what it is.
To get past copyright.
Something. Right. Mandalorian Jedi says looks like a Gorn to me. It's Gorngills. So this, tell us what this is.
Yeah. So Eagle Force has been doing this line Eagle Force was an old toy line that has been revamped, offered through Big Bad. It's in the 3 3/4 scale. And so they've done figures that are homages to other toy lines.
They've skirted a lot lot
yes,
very closely.
They are trying
you ever wanted Charlie Brown on your G.I. Joe team,
or Mario and Luigi,
you can do it.
Fresh Monkey Fiction are competing with Spirit Halloween for the non-copyright infringing champions of the year.
Yes. So the Kraken is one of the villains from the Action Force line over in the UK. And this was right before really they started using the super articulated Joe bodies. It's still like the 5 points of articulation, but he was this underwater lizard man. He came with a trident. It was a really cool design. And if you've listened to our show for a long time, this is a figure that I have brought up multiple times, wanting to see him in an updated G.I. Joe line. So I do still collect the 3 3/4. So yeah, I'm so psyched for this. And I think the sculpt is incredible. If all of them have that similar paint job, it's just great. Like it's like the scale design, they didn't just do the whole leg as a print. It's sort of like just highlighting the musculature, the claws. If you look, they're not just painted white. Like everything has kind of a grime and a wear and tear, like they should. It's that attention to detail. I love it.
Well, it's the head to me looks a lot like the creature from Monster Squad, which is nothing but a good thing to me. I mean, as we've established, I'm a huge fan of Gilman inspired designs. And I think the fact that they achieved this look for the arms and legs with just paint is incredible, especially, well, hang on, we'll get there. First of all, you guys know I love a good bubble helmet. And when you want to take your Gorgil's, Kraken, whatever on land, he's got to have his bubble helmet.
Yep. And for me, this head sculpt is a vast improvement. And of course, technology changes, but the original Kraken actually had kind of like an elongated head. I mean, more lizard like,
yeah,
right? Not
yeah.
Creature from the Black Lagoon.
Well, that one to me looked much more like a Gorn.
Yeah. And so to me, this is definitely more of an aquatic looking creature.
So, okay, so take a look at this. Let that burn into your retinas. And I'm going to show you the original render for this figure.
Uh-oh. Wow.
How wild is that?
This was a labor of love for somebody.
Yeah, usually it's the opposite.
Yeah.
Like we get these amazing renders, and then when the figure shows up, you're like, wait.
And look, this render is beautiful. And if they released one that looked like this, I'd buy this also. But to go from this pretty nice simplicity to that,
yeah,
is
night and day.
Awesome. And this is if you follow Grindhouse Toys on Instagram, who I still have to review a figure they put out at Joe Fest. It just got lost in the shuffle. But that's who's behind the design of this figure, the paint. Schweck is asking, are the elbows double jointed? They are not, but they've got a very deep pivot. They get more than 90 degrees, and there's a swivel at the top.
Seeing this and seeing that render, like just the way my mind works, I'm like, somebody left a layer off in Photoshop. Like,
So yeah, that's part of Eagle Force's Monster Force line, which is a completely different thing from the other Monster Force line. But at the same time, I got to think we're probably going to see this they're both Fresh Monkey Fiction. So I got to think we're going to see some version of this in the 1/12 scale Monster Force.
Sure.
That's my hope.
Based off of how the other Monster Force figures look, I don't think he'll remotely look similar. But we're definitely going to get a Gill Man of some sort.
I think you could Abe Sapien this up a little bit, and it could fit. But I'm pretty sure we'll find out sometime, maybe not soon, but we'll find out. And I believe that is the last of our shareable content until we get to sound off. So I got a couple other things here that have come up from various sort of thought prompts on His Tank. We love to go to His Tank and just sort of see what everybody's talking about over there. I haven't been on there as much in the last couple of weeks. That new job, it's great, but I just can't get online as much as I used to. Okay, so we've got a little thought exercise here that I'm going to throw out there, and we'll start with Noel on this one. So Noel, I'm Lenny. Ring, ring, ring. Ring, ring, ring.
Hello, is this Lenny?
This is Lenny from G.I. Joe Classified. I'm the mayor of G.I. Joe. Noel, we like you. You're a good fella. You're real smart.
I'm a good customer. That's what you're trying to say.
Yeah,
I've spent a lot of money with your product.
I gotta spin this stuff. Emily has taught me a lot of the ins and outs of how to handle our fans. But we like you. You got a good head on your shoulders. Unfortunately, Hasbro has made some decisions about some things, and the classified line is ending. But we're going to let you choose the final figure to be released. What is your choice, Noel?
The fridge is my choice.
1/12 scale, William the Refrigerator Perry. I love it. I think it's great.
It was
Kristian, what is
one of the last figures I collected as a kid, so gotta have them.
Everybody in the chat, Lenny is asking you guys too. He wants to know if they were only making one more figure and you could pick it, what would it be? Kristian, how do you feel about the fridge? I'd be fine with that.
I would be, yeah. So when you sent this in the notes, my first initial thought was Lady J, but I have a feeling that by the time the line ends, she's still going to be on the shelves at
There's
going to
be 12 versions of her on the shelf.
That's true. That's true.
So if all the other figures that I wanted got released at some point during the line, and this is it.
Well, no. This is right now.
Oh, right now?
If all we're getting is whatever has been announced thus far and your one pick.
Right. Okay. Eagle Eye, I love you, but I've mentioned you so many times, so I'm still going to go with my Mike Power, the Atomic Man.
Yes. Oh, man.
Updated so that his atomic arm works similar to a bat, so he has all these attachments to use for G.I. Joe.
I knew you would bring it, and you did not disappoint. We've got Mandalorian Jedi, says Nemesis Enforcer. Yes.
Good pick.
Will R, Hooded Cobra Commander. I'm done. Yeah, and we don't know what the status of that is. We'll,
Now, would Nemesis Enforcer be a deluxe figure?
Yes. I would have to be, right? Because he'd be huge.
Yeah, I want him bigger.
He'd have to be taller.
He needs to be bigger than Slaughter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he needs to have some kind of like functional
giant
wings. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And he needs to go. Christmas Ape wins with Dayforce Fridge. Ryan Schweck says Cobra Agent Rancor. Still trying to work that Rancor into the line. Kevin Riddle agrees. Hooded Cobra Commander. JJ Shoulder Height says Astro Viper. Astro Viper would be awesome. I'm absolutely up for that. It's one of the first past my collecting years figures that I ended up with, and it's part of why I've bought more post 87 figures.
He's Astro Viper and Storm Shadow were the only two 88 characters that I went and bought at retail.
See, I had that Storm. We've talked about it before. I've had that Storm Shadow, or he must have been the last figure I got. But that was it. Like, I even remember at the time, like, I was like, I don't really collect this anymore, but this is so awesome. And I kind of pulled my Joes back out just to play with that Storm Shadow some. Drawswalker 9 says Pythona. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh. Pavelft says Baron Blood or Iron Claw.
Yes.
Iron Claws
needs to happen.
That I definitely want in this line.
Craig Dukas, what's up? Craig Dukas, shop Slickalicious on Instagram. Go to check out two of our designs. Welcome to beautiful Braca Beach and our Beastie Boys tribute design, both by Slickalicious. I'd say give me a dead bazooka from Resident. What is wrong with you?
Well, look, they're already doing it with the Transformers. They gave us a dead Ironhide and Prowl.
That's true. Oh, and Super 7 made a dead Optimus Prime.
He's right there.
Schweck says Quinn or Crystal Ball. I'd take either one of those.
Yep.
So here are my choices. Because of course I couldn't have just one. My troll answer is Rapid Fire, the neon green Super Trooper repaint.
Yeah.
And he would include the VHS. My for real personal answer is they haven't said Alpine yet. And out of every possible Joe, I have to have Alpine to go with Bazooka. I have to.
Yeah.
And then my actual answer that I legit think is a really good answer is Joe Colton. If they were to wrap up the line with a really cool Joe Colton, I don't know what it would look like. If you want to make it Bruce Willis, that's fine.
Yeah, there's a lot of different variations you can go with that. You can go with the one
Right.
that looks like the original G.I. Joe figure.
And I think that would probably be the way to go. Do a 1/12 classified version with like a foot locker, like tons of accessories, loaded up with accessories.
But you could also do, I mean, you could do a second head. You could have a Bruce Willis head, or you could have an original Joe head and just have it on the same figure.
Yeah. And there are a lot of options with that would be cool. And actually, that's something they should just be doing anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So, same question, but for vehicles, but not HasLab size, like Vamp sized, fan channel sized. We still don't know how the Vamp is coming, but that's my assumption. Fan channel sized vehicles. Rich Murphy in the house.
Am I going first again on this one?
No, you don't have to.
I've got my answer.
I'll go first just because I've only got one this time. I couldn't even come up with like anything else because the only answer to me is the water moccasin.
That's a good one.
That's a
very good one.
Oh, is that yours?
No. That was that was the most obvious one that's going to get said by somebody else.
Dude,
one that came up in my head.
If for real, if I could only pick one more vehicle, that would be it. Because the classified water moccasin, I mean, it would be sizable. We've already got Copperhead, so throw a Python Patrol Copperhead in. I don't care. Whatever. Throw in a Cobra Trooper. It doesn't matter. A water moccasin in classified would be so awesome.
Well, mine was the reason why I changed my initial answer, because I'll just get him in this now. Thunderhawk from Mask.
Oh.
Yeah. So Matt Tracker and the Thunderhawk, that's a Vamp size vehicle.
Wow, It sure is.
Yeah. Gull wing doors pop up and it turns into a jet. Yeah. And Matt Tracker's canon G.I. Joe now.
Right.
Yeah.
It works.
Okay, solid. You know what? I wonder if you've pulled the Kristian slot right out from under Kristian for innovative thinking. Kristian, what have you got? You're going to have to bust out like back in 1964, the G.I. Joe line released the undersea bubble cruiser that looked like Homer Simpson's car, but was an underwater vehicle and was piloted by a little person that looked like a mole.
Yes. So,
which, by the way, whatever that is, I want it, and it can be the enemy of the Day Force.
For this one, I actually want the snake armor, but does that count as a vehicle?
No, I mean, yes, we all want it, 100%.
So then,
but to me, that's too small.
Well, when you said not HasLab size, like just thinking how my brain works, what I would be excited to get. I had the snake armor, I had the buzz bore, which also was kind of small, but man, at classified scale to have those blades, that would be so. I'd buy a couple. I
want a buzz bore, but I want it to come with a Rat Viper, because as we all know, he once got busy in the back of a buzz
one
bore.
of those. Yes.
Okay, so we got Schweck says he wants a Fang. That's a good call. I mean, it's smaller than a Vamp, but would be great in classified. Q-Force Swordfish? Crickets.
I'm searching Google for this.
Yeah, I don't know what that is. That's from Pavelft. Kevin Riddle says a Slugger, which I guess kind of is Vamp-sized, right?
Well,
I've not seen this before, and
if you're going by original 3 3/4 inch, toys, yes, it was the same size toy as the Vamp, but then again, so was the His Tank, and we know that's scaled up quite a bit for classified. So yeah, I think things like that,
Whoa.
like the Wolverine and the Slugger, would probably be a little bit bigger if they were to release them in classified.
So the Q-Force sword. Well, let me here. We'll do a little.
It's pretty cool.
Oh, it
Yeah,
didn't.
I would absolutely be down for this.
I can't open the picture that I have. Oh, it's all tiny. All right, I can't even do a screen share. I'll just recommend everybody look up Q-Force Swordfish. That's pretty cool. I can't honestly say I'd want that in classified, but I would love to see an updated 3 3/4 inch version of that. I would be awesome.
Well, and looking at the pilot, now I just want a Super 7 reaction version of it.
Yes.
The pilot looks perfect as a reaction figure.
Oh, wait, real quick. Speaking of vehicles, I skipped over something because it was a late edition. The Trouble Bubble is now scheduled to ship from Pulse on September 5th.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Right around the corner.
I got to make some room. That and the Hiss are coming soon.
Okay. So, we got chat. We got to get in the chat and see what else people want to have. Rachel says Thunder Machine. And is Thunder Machine... See, I feel like that's HasLab. Craig Dukas in the super chat contributing to our StreamYard pursuit. Thank you,
I think with
sir.
a Thunder Machine, you got to make that a little bit more special. It's got to have some extra bells and whistles on it to make it a HasLab.
Craig Dukas with the super chat says Ski-Mobile, but with a snow machine hitched to the back, which throws snow overhead. Snow job is now Tiger Force ready.
Yes.
Let's do it. I'm in. Okay. Schweck says, would the bridge layer be HasLab size? I have zero interest in a classified bridge layer, but I think it would have to be HasLab, right?
Yeah.
It would just be too big.
Yeah, that bridge is way too. Adds a lot of bulk to that thing.
Because the vehicle itself, not so much. I mean, it's probably the same amount of plastic as the Wolverine.
It's a little bit bigger, I think, than the Wolverine.
Yeah,
it's a little wider.
I'm looking at it. Well, here, let's have some fun.
But the actual bridge part, I mean, that's, for lack of a better word, hollow plastic.
The bridge layer is pretty decently bigger than the Wolverine.
Wow,
the Wolverine, yeah.
Wolverine is very small.
The Wolverine is small. The Wolverine, if you're looking at just a parts count, is probably comparable to the Vamp. Now, a classified version, though, they would probably scale up a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like I would say with the tanks, if you're doing them in classified, you would probably take an Armadillo and scale it up to about Vamp size, and you'd take a Wolverine and scale it up to about Mobat size.
Right.
And Schweck, if they were to do a bridge layer, I think I've mentioned this before, I actually would want it in HasLab, because after watching videos of how those things work in the real world, it's the one vehicle that I want the gimmick for. Like, it's got to be motorized to actually lay the bridge. Rachel
brought something up that has been brought up before that I totally forgot about, because I still don't know where Lenny said it, but I do know he did. Rachel said that Lenny said the Thunder Machine was too small for a HasLab.
Yeah.
That still surprises me a little bit.
I still don't know where did that come from? What, like, was that like a post San Diego Comic-Con interview or something? I think that's around the time that information came out. Can't keep up with it all. Ryan Schweck, it meets all your bridge needs. But somebody up here said the Warthog. I've lost the chat.
Warthog is a large.
Warthog would be big, but it would be great. It would be great and classified.
It's a personnel carrier, so it's gotta have some bulk.
Because I was even thinking the Cobra Imp, but it's not HasLab size, but it's definitely, when you start adding the giant rockets, it's bigger than a van.
It's big. So Sergeant Savage's P-40 Warhawk. That would be awesome. I would love, like, I don't want that, but if they made that, I would buy it, which is how I am with most classified vehicles. Like, any classified vehicle larger than a Vamp, I don't want it, but if they make it, I'm going to buy it. But don't make it. Stop it, Hasbro.
Don't make me spend all of my money.
Right. Okay, so I think we've wrapped up our news-ish material fairly well. Anybody who knows this show knows that we have a very special segment called Sound Off, where we go to Instagram, Audible Interlude Podcast on Instagram, and we ask you, the fans, what do you want to talk about? And we had a very light sound off week this time around, which is fine because we've managed to fill up an hour, even with minimal entries on sound off.
And we also have a bonus question we got asked a little bit beforehand.
That's right.
Too.
That's right. Oh my gosh, where did I? It's in my phone. Oh man, I didn't transfer my phone notes over. I'm going to see if I can remember this off the top of my head. Okay, so Sergeant Action asks, do you think Hasbro will enter the 1/12 scale diorama scene at all? What would you like to see them make if they did? Field Outpost would be up there on my short list. Yo, Joe. I don't know. It's an interesting question that we have talked about them doing, the bivouac or the forward observer or different things like that. I would really like to see those.
Yep, I want every single one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Even the ammo dump.
Yeah, the earlier this year I got the the mortar defender. There's practically nothing to it.
Right.
But man, when you get it set up and you got the figure next to it,
it's cool.
It just looks so good.
It enhances.
Right.
I would
even
love
the Cobra firing range.
Yeah, the Cobra firing range
with at a 1/12 scale, so the figures actually hold their guns better. You can make that really look good.
Oh, you're right. Well, and you know what? Because we've talked about in the past how important figure photography is to the business now. So you'd think they'd be serving that segment of the fandom that promotes their products for them for free. And that stuff would definitely do it. Think about the Cobra, was it Communication Outpost? I can't even remember what that thing's called. The blue thing.
Yeah,
Surveillance.
Surveillance port.
Surveillance port.
Yeah. Yeah, that thing's great. I would love to have that. Now, think about that in classified scale, though. That would be that'd be huge. It would.
Not really. I mean, it holds 3 figures, so it's big, but it's
I can't reach
massive.
But think about classified. It's going to be a good 10 inches by 12 inches. It's gonna be pretty hefty, and they're gonna have to doll it up a little bit too. It's not like they're just gonna blow up the original. It'll have all kinds of extra details and functionality.
Sure. But even the Cobra bunker, at Joe Fest, there were some folks, they do the 3D printing, that had made bunkers, and I felt like they were actually a little too big.
Right, they might have scaled them up even a little bit more.
Like if you actually took the 3 3/4 figure and the bunker, and then you scaled them up equally to what 1/12 would be. I mean, again, it's big. It's going to be 8 or 9 inches tall, but it's not like this 1.5 feet.
So
taking up a whole shelf.
So what is your upper price limit on something like that, though?
Well,
are you going to pay $90 for that?
It's Hasbro. They're charging $50 for a wall and a half for a Star Wars playset with a figure, and I think those are a ripoff. Me personally, I think you could do these in the $40 to $75 range, and they would sell no problem. I think once you start getting above, and the 75, I'm thinking, that's your bivouac. That's, lots of accessories, stuff like that.
But do you really want to pay $75 for a bivouac?
I would.
And do they have to include a figure with it?
No. That is actually one of my biggest pet peeves.
But they probably will.
Oh, absolutely, because that's how they justify the cost that
Right.
they're charging.
So what if they do, as they proceed forward with some more of the original 13, what if it's like short fuse with the mortar set?
Okay, so if you were to do that, and this is just how I feel right now in this moment. It will probably change, but if you were to do that, make them fan channel exclusives. Don't
I'm
send
down with
send them
everything.
to retail where there's the possibility it will fail,
Right.
and then you go, oh, see, they don't want them.
Well,
Just-
dude, and every Target I go to has like 5 scrap irons sitting there. And I'm like,
oh, wow.
Target and Walmart's both, I've seen scrap irons.
Yeah.
Oh, not down here. For a couple of weeks, I saw, like, my Walmart had 2 scrap irons, but he's gone now.
Yeah, I've seen him. Look, that's not a bad thing. I think we need to get past this idea of, if toys are actually in stock, that they're rotting on the pegs, because it's not the case. We want
most
things
toy
to
lines
be available.
Yeah, most toy lines, you can find things readily available on the shelves normally.
Right.
Yeah, we
But
want Joe's available.
If it didn't come with a figure and you put it in just a regular store, I'm probably insane, but I think it is now appealing to a wider audience, because you do have people that do other military toys that just want to build a diorama. So I think once you throw the G.I. Joe figure in there, especially if it's one of the original, 82 figs, which I want, yeah, fan channel exclusive. And I'll probably pay up to $100 depending on how much comes with it.
All right. Sorry, I'm
Nope.
transferring my notes here. Okay. And now I've got to open my, oh, there we go. Fortunately, I did not lose the chat. Okay, we got to check in with the chat. So Rachel says Lenny made the comment during a San Diego Comic-Con interview, which I think I remember that now. Schweck says, if they make it, I'm going to buy it. I mutter to myself in every Target aisle. Rachel says, I'd like a Cobra bunker and surveillance port. I agree. Those would be very cool. Whoop.
So Schweck, are you saying that you bought the $24 recolored Boba Fett figure?
Nah.
Tisk.
Dude, those vintage collection Fetts for $20.99, I passed on them, and I generally buy Boba Fett stuff, but that's just preposterous. Lots of votes for Cobra Bunker. Checkpoint Alpha would be great.
I love a Checkpoint Alpha.
But
that would be very large if they were to do that. We've talked about it before.
Yeah, I would. I need Law and Order to go with it, because that's who always manned that for me. Mandalorian Jedi, I want supply drops with guns, packs, and other gear. Yes, we've talked about that before too. We want classified scale battle packs.
Yeah.
Literally on those card backs, or if you want to do like a Foot Locker type thing, I think that'd be cool.
I was going to say, Hasbro makes the Fortnite figures, and I recently saw on Amazon, I mean, these are not new, but they came out with like these Fortnite arcade machines, and when you open them up, it's a weapons pack. So how easy would that be to do for Joe?
I've got one, because Ollie's had hundreds of them, and I thought, it would be really cool because it's a 1/12 scale arcade cabinet.
Yeah.
And I thought it'd be really cool to reskin it with like the G.I. Joe arcade game and stick it on my classified shelf. I just haven't done it, and probably honestly never will, but I thought it would be neat. So yeah, stuff like that could definitely be done. Christmas Ape, $15. You're a beautiful Christmas Ape. StreamYard donation. Would be cool if Hasbro got into the cardboard dioramas like extreme sets, but like official Joe themes, like the bases. You know what?
Yeah.
Christmas Ape, you have put a spin on that. But Because people have said before things like the Missile Command Center, and I just, I've got the one they did in years ago, whatever it was, and it's neat, but it just doesn't have a ton of appeal to me. But when you put it like that, if they were like the Extreme Sets dioramas, that's a compelling thought to me.
Mm-hmm.
If it's literally just like a 3D pop out type of thing, that's interesting to me. Let's see.
Affordable.
Are you guys, Kristian and Noel, are you guys watching the stream?
I've got it up.
So we're still going?
Yeah.
Okay, mine has gone to our image, but I closed it out to move the notes over, so that may be the problem. Okay. What else we got? Short fuse with a mortar set could just be a deluxe figure. Yeah, that's 100% true.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Well, I was thinking that too. You don't have to necessarily put out the bivouac or the outpost defender the way they are, but you could throw in deluxe figures some of those accessories. Throw in some barrels, throw in a hedgehog, throw in some sandbags, a little brick wall, and I think that to me gives a figure $10 more of value than just a couple of extra blast effects and maybe some extra hands that I'm never going to touch again.
Right. I agree.
This isn't what you meant, Noel, but now that you said hedgehog, with Tripwire coming with a rat, if they're going to make, continue making new Joes,
they should all have animal
I want
companions.
a hedgehog, like an actual hedgehog pet partner.
What's up, Todd Bratchwood? Good to see you here. KB Jodographs with the recent look of Scrap Iron's launcher. It's a perfect lead into the pack rats. Yeah, 100% pack rats. Yep. That's another one that I think we've all expressed an interest in. And again, so could you do something
realistic?
Yes, absolutely. And could you do something like Flash comes with a pack rat, Blowtorch comes with a pack rat. I can't remember who was on the box art for any of them, actually. Now that I'm thinking about it, I don't think Blowtorch was even on with the flamethrower. It was somebody else, wasn't it?
I don't even remember with the box art. I wouldn't even think there was Joe's in the.
I was thinking there were like on the back.
Or maybe. Oh,
I don't know. Whatever the case, those could be deluxe figures for sure.
Yeah.
All right. Got to keep going. We got one more sound off before we get to our deluxe bonus question. Podcast from the Pit. What's up, Podcast from the Pit? Everybody check them out. They're a fellow Joe podcast available wherever you get your podcasts. With Classified giving us great figures down the line, I am most excited for Airborne. Give us 2 each that they have not named. I would want Long Range, Bomb Strike, and Zap. So just 2 figures that they haven't named yet that you'd like to see. I'm going to go with Xandar and Sci-Fi.
Sci-Fi, still one of the first ones that was on the original G.I. Joe relaunch website, and we still haven't got
was in Operation Blackout.
Yeah. There's so many to choose from, but I think I'm going to go with Mainframe and the 87 Battle Armor Cobra Commander.
Nice. And I know I said Alpine earlier, but this is a different question, different time, different thoughts. I'm in a Xandar sci-fi kind of mood right now.
So I think Deep Six version 2, I think it is the one where he's
with the dolphin
in a dive
that's
suit. Like he's actually
3.
posable. Is that 3? Okay.
Yeah, that was the Eco Warriors one was the one with the dolphin. 2 was the one that he had the removable like solid plastic helmet.
Yeah, like a bell helmet.
Yeah.
And the Heat Viper.
I'm disappointed that in this exercise, nor in the other one with Lenny, nobody said listen and fun Tripwire.
I've said him before. I want him, but that would not I couldn't throw that out as any kind of answer for that. Okay. Neil Hill, Tunnel Rat is edging towards favorite status for me. Love the accessories and just about everything else. Neil Hill, you with your early figure acquisitions, you. Rachel says Pack Rats didn't have any figures on the package art. See, I was thinking on the back.
On the
Like,
back they do,
not the
but
front.
the
Yeah, right. That's what I was
stands-
thinking. It was on the back. They each had a figure alongside the thing.
Yeah, the scans that I saw just on a quick search are really bad, and I can't tell who the figure is.
Will R says, hell yeah, Dave Xandar, throw in Road Pig. Well, we know, like, Road Pig's happening.
Road Pig's coming.
Guaranteed.
Yeah. That's Lenny's guy.
Yeah, Lenny is just not going to announce it until he has that perfect Road Pig laid out.
He's got to figure out how to get the money for that tooling, and then it'll happen. Rich Murphy says, Operation Blackout Sci-Fi for sure. I liked that design. I really did. Rachel Salinas says Doc and Saw Viper. Oh, that's sick. What's wrong with you? That's terrible, Rachel. You should be ashamed of yourself, but also very proud of yourself at the same time.
I respect you.
Neil Hill, Blowtorch is a must and should be next. Yes, Blowtorch in classic colors. Or if they want to do Night Force Blowtorch and then down the line do a regular Blowtorch, I'm okay with that too. Because I want Blowtorch to be tooled right. I don't want him to be like a kit bash that they strap some pads on. You know what I mean? So I do tool him up right, get a double dip on him. That's fine. Ritz Murphy, I want a true vintage style Cobra Trooper.
Yeah.
I buy it.
I'd be good with that.
Yep.
If they wanted to include that, do that with the surveillance port or the bunker. Throw in just a bare bones stripped down Cobra Trooper and then offer it as a 2-pack on Pulse. Okay. So that wraps up Sound Off, but we do have one more question from our good friend Pete. This one was kind of slipped in sideways, but we'll take it. So if Serpentor, this is referencing our last segments episode. So if you didn't listen to our last audio episode from last week, go check it out. So if Serpentor is going to be sentient AI, then in true 80s G.I. Joe fashion, what would Serpentor stand for? And this is a little bit of a brain buster once you get down to it.
I spent way more time on this than I ever expected to.
So for the proper background, we kind of threw out the idea of a modern version of Serpentor might be an AI that was developed to assist Cobra Commander as kind of a battle planner that gets out of control, just like every killer AI story you've ever seen in pop culture. But this one happens to be Serpentor. All right. Who wants to go first? I will if you guys don't want to.
You can go first.
Go for it.
Because mine's got a little bit extra story to it.
So, mine does not. So initially, this AI is just strategy enhancing replication program, engage, neutralize, terminate. It's just referred to as Serpent out of the gate. But once it gains sentience and becomes a threat to Cobra Commander and to the world, it starts referring to itself as Serpentor.
Okay.
All right.
That's my cheat for not having to come up with anything for the O and the R.
I can't blame you.
I also think it makes story sense. All right.
I'll go. So since Noel worked so hard on his, we'll save the best for last. Okay. So I don't have any kind of great backstory like either one of you. I just have too many years of reading Marvel Comics and loving Schoolhouse Rocks. So Serpentor stands for Supreme Ego Ruining Preeminent Emperor, nefariously triumphantly overthrowing reality.
Ooh.
That's
colorful. I love it.
Colorful is the right word. Wow.
I like my
Okay.
adjectives.
This is tremendous.
So for mine, I went through and I scribbled down a bunch of things and I settled on this. I'm going to give you what my response is first, which is sentient experimental robotic program empowering nefarious terrorist operations remotely. And
Ooh.
I thought that was
Nice.
okay.
Wait, do that again. Do that again.
It is sentient experimental robotic program empowering nefarious terrorist operations remotely.
That is fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
But I still wasn't happy with it.
What?
And I said, well, if I'm trying to come up with what a sentient AI would be,
Oh no.
I'm gonna consult with an expert. So I reached out to my friend Chad GPT.
Oh no.
And had said the question to ChatGPT: if Cobra from G.I. Joe created an AI called Serpentor, what would the acronym Serpentor stand for?
Oh, geez.
And I fed this question a few times, and I got a couple different answers. The first one I got was Strategic Enhanced Resource Planner and Executive Neural Tactical Operations Responder.
Whoa.
Okay.
The next one I got was Strategic Electronic Resource Planner and Executive Network Tactical Operations Robot. So some pretty good ones that
Wow.
that ChatGPT fed out to me. There was a couple others that I could sit here and read them all day, but those were a couple that stood out to me.
I like that you fully embraced the spirit of the question, which, by the way, you Mandalorian Jedi, I'm a fan of this line of questioning. Yes, you and Pete would get along 100%. We've got to go back real quick. Go back up. We've got Neil Hill wants a classic proper blowtorch. Pavel wants a Dr. Venom, Quinn, and Scarface 3-pack. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
With pieces of the brainwave scanner. Yes, absolutely. Ritz Murphy, that was a serious mouthful, Kristian. And Neil Hill, Serpentor, new He-Man character. Well, if you've listened to the show, you know we've got a Snake Men Cobra Law connection that goes way back. All right. Well, that is everything for Sound Off. Have you guys got Joe and Tells for this week?
I don't. My Joe and Tell is Dragon Con prep.
Well, and that's kind of what mine is. All Dragon Con related. I have some merch here that is only going to be available at Dragon Con live at the Audible Interlude Operation Snake Gun panel, 1 p.m. Friday, Marriott M103 and 105. We have a new run of Force Brigade action figures, including characters like Sergeant Cuffin Stuff, Sloppy Joe, and everybody's favorite, Sigmund Royd,
Yes.
the evil bodybuilder who wants to smash freedom. So we've got.
Why would you do that to an eagle?
That is still one of the greatest names ever to grace this planet.
Got some brand new Audible Interlude stickers designed by Slickalicious. Check out. Why can't I figure out where the light is? What is happening? Check out Shop Slickalicious on Instagram. We have got the usual assortment of buttons, and we've got the original sticker design. So come out to Dragon Con, participate in the Audible Interlude panel, and remember, give us 5 stars in the Dragon Con app. Noel, you got a little something?
Nothing really. I just, back when we were doing our well, we're still doing them. We're still doing Half the Babbles occasionally, but there's a few things that I just mentioned, and I was like, well, now we're doing show and tell sort of things. Or sorry, Joe and tell. It doesn't have to necessarily be Joe stuff. So I thought I would share one of the things that I actually talked about a while back, because I've never actually showed it on camera. This is the toy that I searched for 38 years without realizing what it was, because my next door neighbor had this when I lived in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. I play with it quite regularly. It is a transforming boat. I will transform him here.
I don't think we got time for that, Noel. It looks like it's pretty complicated.
It actually is not, but yeah. Anyway,
I'm kidding. You can transform it.
I'm trying to remember how to do it right now. I know
these. Oh no, it is.
These legs come around. Anyway, I didn't know what this was for the longest time, and I searched for every possible combination because I knew he had a wind-up propeller. That's right, because his arms fold up. He had this little wind-up propeller right
Whoa,
here.
really?
Yeah, so it's...
Oh, that's great.
It's mechanized. And I searched for every combination. I knew he was red, white, and blue, and he had a little bit of yellow details on him. But after years and years and years of searching every Google search possibility combination I could come up with, I finally figured out this is a vintage Sea Defender CR1 transforming robot boat toy from Masudaya Motorworks.
Oh my
There's
gosh.
a couple of others that are very similar that came out in this line, but this was the one that I needed, and I paid way more money than I wanted to for this toy.
Well, it looks like it's in pretty good shape.
This one's in great shape. There's actually, I just preparing for this, I was just going to see what was on eBay right now, because there were only 2 on eBay at the time, but the same seller. There's another one that's up right now for half of what I paid for this, but his stickers are not intact. So
well, I'm sure you could hit up Toy Hacks and get reproduction stickers for that.
I don't know about that, but I do know that when I did search for that Q-Force thing earlier, the first search result was the Toy Hack stickers for it.
I saw that. That's funny.
So I was like, well, apparently this is a very popular one to resticker.
And so, Noel, I gotta say, that boat form now justifies why Quick Switch, his boat form, which is this blocky.
It is.
What? But that is totally it.
Yeah, it's very similar.
Wow.
And I might have been reminded of this last night when I was watching TJ Omega, who's a Transformers reviewer, was going through a list of like the very few boat toys ever in the Transformers line, and I was like, he should mention the CR1 Sea Defender, even though it's not a transformer, but it transforms. And Dive from the GoBots
is honestly the best one ever made.
Yeah,
that's the submarine, right?
Yeah.
So
I vaguely remember that.
Few of those. Man of War was also a GoBot that was a big battleship. They did a few that.
I don't remember that one.
Yeah, that was like the 86 one, so it didn't get
a little later.
It didn't get a lot produced, but I have one. But yeah, so anyway, completely off on a tangent there about transforming boat toys. But yes, this is one that was a very special place in my heart that was just absent, and there was a hole there for 4 decades.
Yeah. I know that feeling. Neil Hill, my Joe and Tell is Tunnel Rat Lowlight. Neil showed up recently. Curse you, Neil Hill. Rich Murphy, Sloppy Joe. Dude, the Force Brigade stuff is, I need to post those, like all of the bios for those so everybody can see them. All right, you guys, that's it. We're done. Check us out at Dragon Con this Friday. Marriott M103, M105 for the classics track. See us live. And if you can't make it there, check out the audio version next Friday. Our music is by Andy Sanford of electricminnowmusic.com. You can follow us on Instagram at Audible Interlude Podcast and on X at G.I. Joe Audible. Noel, why don't you tell us a little bit about The Finest?
The Finest is a G.I. Joe costuming group with members all over the world. We raise money for a fantastic organization called Canines for Warriors. So if you ever are at a convention and you happen to see our booth, throw a few bucks our way. Maybe if you ever thought about dressing up like your favorite Joe or Joe adjacent character, maybe we can give you some pointers, get you in a costume. You can help us raise some money. A lot of us will be at Dragon Con. However, we don't do anything really official there. There'll be some of us in the parade, and we'll be doing the photo shoot on Sunday afternoon on the Hilton back steps. But that's welcome to any G.I. Joe costumers. So if you're interested in doing one of those things, then reach out to us. We'll be happy to help you.
And Kristian, you will be at Dragon Con as well, but tell us right now, about where we can find those wonderful pictures.
You can find me on Instagram and flickr.com under the name Legion Cub.
Well, you guys, thank you for once again sitting down and talking about something we love so much, G.I. Joe. Everybody in the chat, super chat or not, everybody that hung out with us tonight, thank you guys. You are making this so much fun. We would be sitting here just talking amongst ourselves regardless. So having you guys here just adds a whole other layer to get your input, to get your, like Rachel literally knows everything there is to know about G.I. Joe.
She's an encyclopedia.
We could barely do the show if Rachel wasn't here. A Mandalorian Jedi making our brains hurt. It's all, you guys are all incredible. So until next time, yo, Joe.